and welcome to this. Turn it down. Welcome to this lovely evening. Today is the 19th of March, 2026. Of course, it is the best month of the year. If I can get an applause for that, everybody roll your hands up in the air and wave it like you just don't care to say this month is the best month of the year. Say yes. I can say yes. Okay. Say yes. Thank you. Because it's my birth month. Yeah. Good night, Belinda. Good night, Mel. Good night. You beat me. Good night. Today is a lovely day today. Today you could Michelle, you agree? Yes. I presume you maybe is born also in this great month. Oh, by the way, I saw something earlier. Somebody sent me something earlier to say there's a tsunami alert in Jamaica. A test of the emergency alarm system, but actually they came back to say it's not. It's apparently it's a test. It's a test or something like that, you know. But yeah, I was looking outside today, and I was saying, outside looks so great. Outside looks so fantastic, you know. The sunshine, and then I went outside, and it is still chilly backside, you know. But well, spring is in the air. And the exciting thing about spring is in the air is that the next thing is going to be summer. Then all these different trees are going to start to clothed back with they're going to be clothed with lots of leaves, and it's going to be so covered as much as possible. And I always say that it's a fresh time, and of course walking in the park is really exciting at this time, because guess what, by walking in the park, when you go there, like you can go there around like 6 o'clock, 6:30, which is very awesome. 6 o'clock, 6:30, that is so really good. Before you have to go there about 8, because duppy you walk. You don't want to walk with duppy, you know what I'm trying to say? You understand what duppy is? I mean, you don't walk with duppy and so like that. So but you can step out there now early in the morning, get some nice sunshine, back to the office, virtual or whatever like that. And I believe that is so important for persons to really get out there and to do it, you know. But before further ado, I'm supposed to get Gary tonight. If Gary doesn't come, but I've got a pack thing, because I want to sort of incorporate this show now with the pending campaign which I have, which leads up to May the 7th, standing for the mayor of Lewisham. So therefore, I incorporate that now in all my shows now as much as possible, with little sound bites as much as possible. So that's a very interesting time. So thank those who are coming on those on Facebook, those on YouTube, those on Instagram, and those on TikTok. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I'm going to be doing every week now, I'm going to do on this platform, going to have discussions on leading up to the elections as well, on all the different platforms, and use it and just go for it. Just go to town. I have nothing to lose, but just exciting time. If you agree with me, say yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to start the show and with an opening, and let's take it from there, because I believe it's a good night. It's a good night tonight. So let's go. Okay. Now, before I start, I want to play this, and it's a part of my campaign. Let's listen to this.
The time has come. The moment of truth is here. The question is, are you ready? Are you prepared? Do you have the strength? Everybody wants to win, but they don't understand what it means to sacrifice to win it all. Everybody wants to be a champion, but are you prepared to work hard enough to become the champion that you believe you can be? Do you think you have the mindset now? Do you understand what it means to get into what they call beast mode?
Yeah.
But I'm here to let you know right.
Beast mode. You know, I like the term beast mode, you know. Um Beast mode is, you know, stepping out there. But you know, during the COVID period, I created this thing called boost mode. Boost mode. And there was a guy that I used to walk with in the park, virtual, during the lockdown period, and we say, boost mode, activate, you know. So when we talk about lockdown, when we talk about isolate, when we talk about quarantine, when we talk about shield, I like to say activate, boost mode. You know, you're stepping out against the grain, you're going against the whole thing about lockdown, and just activate, boost mode. So that's one of the good things about that. Now, same guy in Toronto, Silver need his own line of sports jacket. I think that is right. I will agree with you. Let's work on that. I got some line of shirts, which is you know, walk and talk motivational moment, and you know, I got some of that walk and talk motivational moment and boost mode activate. I don't think I have one of those shirts. It's on the website, on my website. Boost mode activate. So boost mode is there. Funnily thinking about that, you know. So that's really interesting. Hashtag good afternoon. I think hashtag said, I did a break dance the other day. I was in the park and I did a break dance. I don't know if I have the video of it. And when I was doing that break dance, Ashrag said to me, she came on and she said, and I'll wind her up. And I said, this is what she said. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, is that AI? Can you imagine? She said, is that AI? So that I had to do another video to say this is not AI, this is not artificial intelligence, but this is me. And and ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play the video at some point later, just to sort of break the whole thing. When I was doing some break dance, because that's what I used to do in Jamaica. I used to sort of break dance, spin on my head. As you notice, I don't have any hair on my head because I used to spin on my head and all those sort of things. Well, listen, the topic, as you can see, is UK caught in the middle, or is the UK caught in the middle? And I use that because, you know, caught between the rising tensions of a potential conflict. I wouldn't say potential conflict, because there's a conflict involving United States and Iran and with Israel there. Global pressure is building, and Britain appears to be walking a tightrope. You know, neither fully committed nor fully detached. And I think I can understand the UK position, because when we went into Iraq, WMD, weapons of mass destruction, and you had the war there. Tony Blair followed suit with America. Of course, this was after September 11 and all those sort of things. Things was rising in the air with Islamics and all those sort of things, and it turned out to be, you know, they never saw this weapon of mass destruction, and people believe that it was a sort of fake war whereby, you know, many lives went, many lives were unalive, uh, bodies came back in bags, body bags, and the UK, once bitten, twice shy, didn't want to go back down that route. So therefore, the majority, I would believe, of the UK is behind the Prime Minister at this time in not wanting to go to war just like that, you know, illegal war, you know, and as a result of that, you know, I think Keir Starmer is on the somewhat right side of history, but at the same time, I believe when it comes on to utilizing the spaces or the different bases, maybe there need to be some sort of rethinking on that. And the next thing also is that, you know, at the same time, you have scenes of Muslims worshiping in Trafalgar Square, sparking conversations about identity, integration, and the direction of modern Britain. That is something which is also a factor. Which, whether you like it or not, it is something that people are talking about, whether we skirt around it. And but while the political and cultural debate rage on, there's more immediate concern which is quietly unfolding. If we're not careful, if you have children and you're watching what's happening, an alarming meningitis outbreak here in the UK, with cases rising and lives already lost in recent days, too, they said. Add to that the looming May elections, and the question becomes unavoidable. Is the country drifting, divided, and indecisive at a time when clarity is needed most? Tonight, we ask the question directly: is the UK leading or simply reacting? Modern Britain is getting a new face. Well, there's a gentleman which I normally have on my show, and his name is Gary. And I haven't seen him. I can see his profile comes. Then to know everything which is happening, and without a doubt, I can't go far without Gary in there. I want to thank for those who are joining me on Instagram. Yvonne Sek, good evening. Well, May the 7th, May the 7th is your Earth Day. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, let's hope that I can give you a gift if I win the election and become the mayor. Well, I'll definitely shout out. When I give my victory speech, I'll say happy birthday, Yvonne Sek. Rush 18, Shades of Africa. Thank you so much for your support, and thanks for that call the other day, all the way from Jamaica. Just wishing me all the best. Bingo. I agree. UK need to get involved. In French, I need to involve. Involve like how? Because what they're saying is that in light of what is happening, whether we like it or not, the UK will be impacted. Because when you look at what is happening with Iran, if you touch Iran, they may not hit back at the US, they may not hit back at Israel, but they will hit back at Qatar, they'll hit back at Cyprus, they'll hit back all these different places, if anything. So they're like a loose cannon. But you also ask the question again at the same time, and this is a question you ask at the same time, is what's wrong with continuous talking? What's wrong with continuous dialogue? What's wrong with all stakeholders coming together and still having that conversation? Or one is going to say, time is up. Time is never up, I believe, when they come on to speaking. And when you hear about that the oil wells or so have been totally destroyed or so, the UK doesn't get its oil directly from that side. But the UK oil prices, which they rely on, come as an effect of all of this, as well. Gary, I don't know if you're there. So therefore, without a doubt, it's going to have an impact. And when it have this sort of impact, it reminds me of when there was the start of the Ukraine war. And I always used to say this all the while. This is what I always say. Always say this. There was a time when I used to get orange juice at a particular price. And then when the war started, the price of the orange juice went up. And then also after that, many prices went up for many things. And what we are seeing unfolding is that we are seeing the prices of oil at the pumps shot up big time. The prices, diesel, shot up big time. And therefore, there's going to be an impact, I would believe, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, there'll be definitely an impact on UK, world prices in different ways. Because if you go there and you buy something and it is something which was delivered, those guys are going to calculate the prices within. But one of the interesting thing, though, I would say, and I've been following up and reading, one of the interesting thing is that the prices of oil at the pump is so fueled, and I use that word fuel because that is the best word, fueled by taxes and duties. It is fueled with so many taxes. And therefore, I think there needs to be a really, really, when you think about it, and you think about some prices or certain things, whenever there's a war, whenever there's an impending war, whenever there is some crisis, money's always found. Am I correct? Yeah, money's always found. They find money all the while. And then you wonder at the same time, why can't there be an easing on the pockets of people? Because who is going to get it all the while is the persons who are really at the bottom of the chain. Because they will always calculate it down, calculate it down, calculate it down. Welcome to those who are joining me on TikTok. And, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. As you can see, I tend to always come on Tuesdays now because of the pending election, the May election coming up very, very soon. Let me see. Don't bring me. Okay, Gary, anytime you're ready. No problem. No problem. So, but I was watching President Trump today, and he was with the Japanese prime minister. President Trump was with the Japanese prime minister, and they were asking him about the different what's going on with the war, and trying to get him to divulge certain things. I always believe when Donald Trump says, and I think world leaders should be very careful to be very coy with what they say. Don't give out certain information because the element of surprise is very important. And then he made this joke in a way. He made this joke, Michelle, and guy. He made this joke to us, and well, it's just like Pearl Harbor, which was really a surprise hit. But right next to him was the Japanese prime minister. So it wasn't really a good joke, But at the same time, the guy's off the cuff, Trump wanted the U.S. to be a great again. He's seen it. It's not easy being a modern colonizer. The decade of cuts of UK military budget, cuts of skill for wartime. So where's the UK going to fight money to fight this Iranian war? Trump is confused about global diplomacy. I don't think Trump is confused about global diplomacy. There's no diplomacy with Trump. I don't think there's any confusion with Trump, Yvonne, and diplomacy. He's just not a diplomat. And I was watching some videos the other day. To Ross, what's up? SDM. So I was watching and I was watching Trump and listen to some of the things he's been saying about Iran. And the same thing he's been saying about Iran is the same thing today. The same thing he has been talking about government and is the same thing today. But one other thing which is very contradictory about Trump at the same time is that he said he's a guy that creates a lot of peace. But at the same time, you're seeing that this particular conflict is not the typical conflict because Iran has built in for years. And I was listening to an Iranian war person saying today that Iran is not just about figures. When I say figures, individuals. If you take out an individual, there's a structure which is there. They keep rising and they keep rising. So if you take out Ayatollah Khamenei 1, Ayatollah Khamenei 2, and different persons, they'll keep rising because there's a structure there. It is not the same as Iraq. Definitely not the same as Iraq. And so therefore, I don't know. And I think it's difficult. It will be very difficult for America to pull back and to say we won or anything, because that's not going to happen. So they may be in it for a long time. It's just like when Russia said it's going to be 2 weeks or so for this thing in Iran, in Ukraine. Well, 4 years now. Man, oh man, oh man. Just to say, he's considering the BOMB. He's sure repeating itself. When you say the BOM, are you talking about something in the similarity of Hiroshima? Is that what you're saying to Ross? That would be a very. It's crazy. It's crazy at the same time because it's like people are like sitting ducks. It's like sitting ducks. And it's like Congress and the Senate has lost control. They can't do nothing. But you're going to have the midterm elections coming up soon. And we see. But one of the things that Trump said in all of his campaign is what he's actually doing now, if anything, because when Obama gave a lot of cash to Iran or so, that was something which was very controversial. Trump is so confused about global diplomacy. Yeah, definitely he's not. Definitely he's not. Now, I was listening to Prime Minister's Question Time, and I'm going to play a bit of it just to sort of analyze it a bit. And what I title this is UK caught in the middle. I don't know. It's like the UK is really caught in the middle in a sense. And as someone said a while ago, where they don't have that money, they don't have that weaponry, they don't have that man on the ground. That's why they were foot on the ground. That's why they were talking about conscription. So when Keir Starmer was also talking about putting foot on the ground in Ukraine, you wonder, is he going to send his children? They got all the ministers and all the government guys. Is it their children going to put there? Because nobody has appetite for war. Nobody has appetite. That's why Muhammad Ali said, I have no beef with those guys to be going after other persons. I have no beef with them. And that is the calamity which we're in. I can see how Congress, the Democrat, is allowing all of this to happen. Is it because Congress and the Democrats, why are they? Is it because the House is with the president or so? They're just allowing this to happen. Because any time when it comes on to war, and that is something when it comes on to in America, there's closing of ranks whereby all fall in line, all agree to it, and all don't want to really jeopardize one moment. Because guess what? It is very difficult when you have a nation also divided with itself when it comes on to conflict, when it comes on to sending troops overseas, and likewise with the Prime Minister here is, I was watching my words there. It is very difficult when the opposition is seeking to and reform, and all these guys are wanting to go into war where they're not really thinking long term, and maybe that Starmer is on the money to a certain extent at this point. The Democrat isn't doing enough to me because they are caught up as well. Why are they caught up as well? Are they caught up because of the religious factor? Let me just play a bit of Kemi Plan, not to work Britain again, but Kemi Plan at this morning when she was yesterday. It was very interesting, I must say. Kemi Badenoch and the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister seemed not to answer any questions, but everyone know that that's what happens at Prime Minister Question Time. It is Prime Minister's Question Time because they don't answer questions. Opposition Leader Question Time is what it seemed to be, that the Speaker of the House had to address the Prime Minister and said, this is actually Prime Minister's Question Time, not Opposition Leader Question Time, not OLQ. So that was very interesting what was going on in Parliament. Gary says he's not connecting at all. Okay, well let me just play something here because I've got this here. I've got this. Share screen. Nadine, what go on? What's going down? Hope everybody's having a good time. After this, I'll play something else. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister tried to avoid scrutiny on the Mandelson files by releasing the documents immediately after Prime Minister's questions last week. So let me ask him now. Did the Prime Minister personally speak to Peter Mandelson about his relationship with the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein before appointing him as our ambassador to Washington?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me start where I must. This was my mistake in making the appointment, and I've apologised to the victims of Epstein. I do so again. The government is complying with the humble address in full, but we are also continuing to support the police in their investigation. The matter of process was looked at by the independent advisor on ministerial standards. It's clear the appointment process wasn't strong enough, and that's why I've already strengthened it. But it was my mistake, Mr. Speaker, and I've apologised for it. She should follow suit and apologise for a gross error of judgment in calling for the UK to join the war in Iran without thinking through the consequences.
Mr. Speaker, I know he doesn't want to talk about the documents he tried to bury last week. He's going to try and talk about anything else, but he's not going to get away with it. I asked him a question he did not answer. We know the Prime Minister was warned about the risk of appointing Peter Mandelson. This is not about the process. He knew that Mandelson stayed in Epstein's house after Epstein had been convicted for child prostitution. He knew that. So I will ask him again. Did he speak to Peter Mandelson about this before the appointment, yes or no?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I've already made clear that he was asked questions and gave untruthful replies. The government is complying with the
Listen to the answer now.
humble address. The process has been set out. The independent advisor has looked at it, and he said, quote, the relevant process for a political appointee was followed. Now, obviously, this is a question of my judgment, but what about her judgment? She wanted to rush into a war with Iran without thinking it through. At the weekend, Mr. Speaker, three weeks in, she said, oh, there isn't a clear plan behind the US strikes in Iran. That's the question she should have asked at the start. The decision to commit the UK to a war is the biggest decision a Prime Minister can take, and she got it completely wrong.
I didn't hear an answer, Mr.
Okay, if you can see what is happening right there, and over the years, Boris Johnson, David Cameron, different prime ministers, they don't answer the question. So people are not actually saying how relevant or irrelevant is Prime Minister's question time. I'll ask you this question. How relevant or irrelevant is Prime Minister's question time? Do you just like it for the Punch and Judy, or what? Or you just watch it because of the dramatic aspect of it? Because the Prime Minister do not answer questions. There you can see where some people actually take him on. But anyhow, let's watch Kemi again, going back at him, asking him a question.
Mr. Speaker, and he's right, it is about his judgment. He has repeatedly told us that Peter Mandelson lied to him, but he won't tell us if he actually picked up the phone and spoke to Mandelson before appointing him. This doesn't make any sense. The Prime Minister told us on the record, and I quote, I believed the lies he told me. If the Prime Minister didn't speak to him, how can he say he lied to him?
Prime Minister. Speaker, the process is clear. It's been looked at by the independent advisor. And she asked me about the process and judgment on appointments. She appointed the Shadow Justice Secretary. He said last night that Muslims praying in public, including the Mayor of London, practicing his faith, are not welcome. He described it as an act of domination, straight from the Islamist playbook. If we're in my team, he'd be gone. It's utterly appalling. She should denounce his comments and she should sack him.
He wants to talk about justice secretaries. His justice secretary is abolishing jury trials. My shadow justice secretary is defending British values. I know who I would rather have sitting on the front bench next to me, and it's not him. But Mr. Speaker, this is important. He does want to talk about anything else except what I'm asking him. 3 times I have asked him if the Prime Minister spoke to...
Okay, so as we can see right here, and I don't know if people are interested in this, but I find it very fascinating. You can see that the Prime Minister is very good at deflecting. So he will start off like he's answering a question, and then he jumps into something else, totally irrelevant, or well, relevant to him, because he's actually trying to prove a point to say that the Keir Starmer, the opposition leader, and Reform, they changed their mind, and they have also did a U-turn as well.
Peter Mandelson, 3 times he has refused to answer. We can only assume he did not speak to Peter Mandelson. From the documents published, we know he left the questioning of Mandelson's relationship with a convicted paedophile to 2 of Mandelson's closest friends, one of whom was also friends with a convicted paedophile. Asking those questions should have been his job. Why did he fail to do his duty?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, so her position is that the Shadow Justice Secretary is defending British values when he says Muslims praying together in Trafalgar Square are not welcome. Mr. Speaker, even Tommy Robinson, I can hardly believe I'm saying this, has said today that if the Shadow Justice Secretary had made these hateful comments 2 years ago, the Conservative Party would have kicked him out. Now, Tommy Robinson isn't some sort of moral signpost. He was pointing out how much their party has changed. They're more inclined to his views, and he's right about that. The fact that he's sitting on her front bench shows she's too weak and has got absolutely no judgment.
The Prime Minister wants to talk about my leadership. I'm shocked because his former deputy has just fired the starting gun on the race to replace him. And I'll tell him one thing. She and I both agree that this weak man should be replaced by a strong woman. But I'm not finished, Mr. Speaker. I have too much to say to him. There is still a lot to ask. There is still a lot to ask about the Mandelson files. There's still a lot to ask. The Prime Minister knew that Mandelson had kept up a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The documents released also show he'd been warned about appointing Mandelson. He claims he was lied to. Mandelson had twice been fired for dishonesty. So why did the Prime Minister believe Peter Mandelson over the vetting documents?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, she asked about leadership. When I see religious events in Trafalgar Square, when I see Hindus celebrating Diwali, when I see Jews celebrating Hanukkah live, when I see Christians performing the Passion of Christ, or Muslims praying, that shows the great strength of our diverse city and country. I've never heard her party call out anything other than the Muslim events. It's only when Muslims are praying. The only conclusion is the Tory party has got a problem with Muslims.
Can I just say, people say, I am not responsible for the answers. I've just got to say that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so that point there, right, by the Speaker, actually is sort of saying to the Prime Minister in a very diplomatic way that he's not responsible for the answer. I mean to say that he's supposed to be responding and answering the questions that the opposition is putting to him, but the Prime Minister keep going as if he's going to answer the question, then he goes around the corner trying to get his point in as a bit about the Muslims praying in central London and about the war and the U-turn as well. So somebody said that he's a lawyer as well, but you know, the thing about it is that any judge would sort of shut him down in a way because he's just not actually following his brief. You know, he's going off somewhere else. His brief is actually to answer the questions at question time. That there's a guy that actually pulled him up, and a member of Parliament pulled him up and said he comes to Parliament all the while with these script and don't answer questions, and he sort of rubbish him to a certain extent. So I just want to say that in regards to the whole thing, UK is caught in the middle. UK is caught right there in the whole thing, in this whole aspect. But I'm gonna play this before. Let me play this. I just want to interject this because this is really good. Are you ready? Ready for me now? Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
Ça tue, ça blesse, ça flingue. Aïe, aïe, aïe. Gazo.
Well, I just want to interject right there. I'm just going to put in my campaign at the same time as I'm going. What it is there are 3 points which I flag up, which is putting people first, restoring trust, and delivering results, and to be your voice. And that is one of the things which I push forward as the prospective mayoral candidate for Lewisham. Putting people first. And why I say about putting people first, that is so important. It is having people at the center, forefront of your mindset when you're doing things. The taxpayers, the counter taxpayers, restoring trust. People are believing sometimes that the council, politicians are not liaising with them, are not actually listening to them, are actually going ahead and doing their own thing after they have their consultation. So it is actually bringing forth a level of trust. And delivering results is so crucial, and that is a key aspect of any council in delivering results for the residents of the area, of the locality, and and to be a voice. And one of the things that I say, I'm going to go on to next. One of the things that I say all the while, and this is something that I'll do. Listen up very carefully. When you have these political, not political meetings, but in a council or in the house or parliament or so, members of the public are tending to not get a long time in these places. There's a lot of protocol which is there, a lot of things that they have to follow through, and there's a short amount of time. They'll have 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever to ask these questions. But one of the things that I want to do, and this is my promise, is every month or every other month, subject to diary conflict or anything like that, is to go to every single ward within Lewisham. Go to every single ward. And you know what I'll do as well? Is to have these mayoral meetings. Bring the team, the cabinet, and to have face-to-face, interface, direct interface discussions with the people. So therefore, you're going out to them, not asking them to come to you. You're going to them in the highways and the byways, and to be fully scrutinized. And I think that is something which is lacking, because I was saying the other day, even with the recent hustings which we had last week, at a hustings last week, Wednesday, and the Green representative turned up, which is Liam, nice guy. Coyote, Virgin, young guy for Lewisham, he's standing for mayor independent, and myself. And the mayoral candidate for the Labour Party, who has been in the council since they've been there for 50 years, did not turn up. And then it struck me very strongly that, one, the mayoral candidate, or the former mayor, which is Damien Egan, he left Lewisham and went to become a member of parliament in Bristol. So he wasn't able to be scrutinized. He wasn't being able to be scrutinized. And then it dawned on me again that the present mayor, Brenda Dakers, has been promoted to the House of Lords, to Barnes Dakers of Lewisham. Not being scrutinized, not being able to be held to the fire, go in front of the people and to be questioned and to be grilled, running again for seat. No, got away. And the present mayoral candidate did not show up at all. Can you believe it? Definitely did not show up. So that is something which is very concerning as well. And that is something that I want to flag up as much as possible. Scrutinizing, because guess what? It is not your money, it's not everything. Gary, are you there? Are you?
I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm just having a lot of problems. That's all.
What's
having a lot
what's
of
not a problem? Did he speak to Trump? He didn't speak to Trump?
I think that's the problem. I think that's the problem, my friend.
You didn't speak to Trump.
I did. I think I'm in touch with him, and the authorities don't like it.
Well, you need to have something like this then.
I need to have something. Yeah, I need to have something like that. An executive order. You're right.
You need an executive order. You need
Yeah.
this is only Jamaican I trust. You don't even trust Angeles.
I've been kind of listening to what you're saying on YouTube, really, in
Yeah,
between the time, you know.
yeah. So
Yeah.
what's your what the UK is sort of caught in the middle. A country now which is very indecisive, a country which is now not the great UK as it was before, you know. It's on the sideline, like, you know what I mean, battering around, trying to find some relevance. And you can see how they treat even the prime minister, lack of respect for him, lack of respect for him internationally as well.
Well, I mean, when you look at it though, still,
Yeah,
it, because there's no leadership. I mean, really, honestly, where does Starmer sit, even amongst the European leaders? I mean,
yeah,
nobody really takes him seriously. I don't think he's a leader for I mean, every man is a leader in their own right.
yes,
Every man. But
yes,
as prime minister of one of the G7 countries, and
yes,
also of an economy such as what we have on here, no, he's not suitable. He's not the right leader for this time.
yes, yes.
No, he's
I-
not the right leader for this
mm.
time. Ir-
And
ir-
go on, Gary, yeah,
Irrespective, I was going to say
yeah,
that irrespective of who Trump is, what he has started, you know. I mean, there's a lot of views going on out there, which is fine. A lot can be said. There are some who are positive in what Trump is doing, and there's a lot of negative out there. I mean, irrespective of whether Trump was well respected by the world over, you're always going to find people who are negative or against the
yeah,
decisions in which the president has made. But when
yes,
it comes to like, for instance, with Starmer now, Prime Minister Starmer, Keir Starmer. Now, it's no. I mean, which leader out there has really stood beside Sir Keir Starmer and said we're giving him 101% support? No, you're not hearing that
you're
at
not,
all.
you're not hearing that. You're not hearing that.
No, no, you're not. And I think that even for Trump, it could have been anybody else. It could have been anybody. I don't know. But even for Trump to come
Yes,
out and say that the special relationship between the UK and the US is to say no more, and even for I shudder to think if things were to really kick off in Europe, if the US would ever come to help Europe again. Because without the US, Europe wouldn't be the Europe that we know now.
no, that is very correct. That is why even Zelensky has come into the whole picture by saying that he wants them to properly talk, because he knows that the impact of what is happening now. I think somebody from the European Union said this Iran war is not our war. Now Trump can say, "Well, Ukraine war is not my war either."
You
You
know.
know. So
Yeah.
so, but at the same time, something which I flagged up earlier. Do you think Trump miscalculated about going into Iran, or he has done his homework based on his research or his advice? Because of course he operates with advice from his people. Like there's an
Um,
NDA.
I don't know if he got the proper advice.
Mm,
You see, I believe that there have always been people around him who are either for him or, I wouldn't say against him, but would at least give an unbiased advice. You
yeah,
know, there. I mean, it's like in our everyday life. Still,
yeah,
you'll always find the one or two that may agree with the decisions you make,
mm,
and there are some that they don't have an axe to grind, but they're there as your conscience really to say, well, still think about it, think about what you're doing.
Yes.
If you do this, then this may happen, or if you do that, that may take place. So there's always a few people around that will always, and there's some that will say, I don't know.
Well, Michelle made a point a while ago on TikTok, and she said, Trump has a bunch of yes men and women around him advising him. And I want to sort of agree, because I was listening to how they were scrutinizing Tulsi. Is she what intelligence person or for intelligence? And she said to us, when they were saying, did you advise President Trump? It sounded like she was saying that it is for the president to make the decision. I don't know. It didn't come across like she advised him. It was like it is the president who decide. Like they're scared.
Yeah.
Even a recent guy who resigned, and Trump started to cuss him off to say, "Oh, he was a crazy guy," blah blah blah. Some counterintelligence guy. So all of them, if they step out, he's gonna cuss them off and say, "Well, they weren't good in the first place."
Yeah.
Kent resigned yesterday, and now they are trying to arrest him. Who is that? Who is Kent? Is that the guy? See, Kent reassigned yesterday.
He's the counter, isn't he? The counter intelligence.
Oh, that's a guy. That's a guy I just alluded to. Trump is making some foolish decision. He will have to pay for his stupid moves, But it's unfortunate when this happened. It is not Trump is going to actually pay. It's the people are going to pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the people, unfortunately, will pay. And so so it is crazy, But one other thing which flagged up as well is Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan is alluding to and pushing. That's why you're seeing something is not strong with Starmer, because he's having people from left, right, and center trying to tell him what to do. Angela Rayner was having a go at him. Sadiq Khan is now leading to him and saying, listen, you need to join back the European Union. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you're and then you're seeing Starmer is like he's trying to please everybody. He's not firm. And that's not good. I mean, Kemi said it. Somebody said, but Kemi, if you replace him and then they get stronger, that doesn't benefit you. But Kemi said, well, I want the best for the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You see, I don't know. He should never have been placed in this position at all. He shouldn't be the prime minister. I think the country made a grave error of judgment when they when Keir came into the frame. I don't know. There's again it would seem you see, that's what backbenchers do. That's what the backbenchers do in a sense, because he didn't want, what's his name, from Manchester, Burnham, Andy Burnham.
Yeah.
He didn't want Andy there because he is a strong leader, contender.
Yeah.
He's a strong contender for the leadership, and probably that is what the Labour Party needed. That's what the country needs right now. In a time of uncertainty like now, you don't need voices of uncertainty, telling other people who are uncertain, who are in leadership, what they should be doing. You don't need that. You need a strong leader at this time. And look at what Trump said a few days ago. So I can't remember his exact words.
Yeah.
But he basically said that Keir Starmer is no Winston Churchill. And he is so right. Now, I'm not saying that we need a photocopy of Winston Churchill in the office.
Yeah.
Because he had his faults and his failures also. So there's no perfect leader at any one time. There is no perfect leader. But obviously, this shows quite clearly the lack of leadership that is within the United Kingdom at this time?
There's a guy. I want to see if I can find him. There's a guy who stood up and challenged Keir Starmer, and you could see that he's like you can see he's like a rising star. And I always believe that you always can find persons who are rising star. I just see the point here that somebody said right here. None of them have a brain cell between them. None of them have a brain cell between them. And Michelle is even saying that going to the supermarket now, she has to be looking at her receipts because it's like you're paying more, you're getting less or getting the same thing,
Yeah.
Petrol station is something else again as well.
I mean, it looks like to me it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Mm.
And what we certainly do not need. I mean, when the leadership of Europe now, I mean, I think it's more fragile now than at any time. Now, okay, what Trump did, everybody has a view on what Trump should not have done.
Yeah.
Okay, I take that. I accept. But they have to understand the repercussions of their actions, of the decisions in which Europe has made.
Yes.
Okay. The United States, that has more or less, Trump or no Trump, the United States is the power that has brought Europe to where it is. Without the money, without the finances, without the political strength that the United States has had over the past 50, 60, 70 years, Europe would not be the Europe it is today. And for Europe, rightly or wrongly, negative or positive points on either side, for Europe to then turn its back on the United States, then the US could very well, in time to come, turn its back on Europe when Europe again needs the help of the US, rightly or wrongly. I'm not. I don't think there's anybody that fully agrees with what Donald Trump has done by going into Iran. I don't know of any one single individual outside of the United States that fully agrees with what is happening. Everybody knows that Iran was a problem. Everybody agrees that Iran was a problem, and Iran had to be dealt with, probably in another way, and probably in another way, sort or time. But for Europe, to unequivocally just turn its back when they were asking the US not too long ago, they were asking the US for arms. Look at that. They were asking Europe for Ukraine.
Yes.
And then for Europe then to turn its back. Then what is Europe now going to do? If Russia decides at the present moment, and what we of the United Kingdom have to understand also, and in your commentaries and such, what has to be said and brought into our minds in this present time, that if Russia wants to rush the UK also, we don't have a chance. Because look at that ship that they have said they've prepared, the HMS Dragon, right? And they're having so much problems with that one little ship that UK has. If Russia wants to rush the rest of Europe, okay, UK don't have a chance, and it's going to affect us. Never mind Iran, it's going to affect us if Russia pulls out all the stops, rushes Ukraine, even Finland, Denmark are afraid of what, and probably Holland too, I think.
So
Of
I always
what,
said dog good number supper.
man,
Dog good
well,
supper.
you see, Europe has to consider these areas.
Yes.
Finland, Denmark, Holland, all of them countries up there that was once, I think it was Finland and Denmark that was once satellites of the
Yeah.
USSR. Yeah, they border Russia, and if Russia rushes them, and Europe cries out for the US to come and help them for that, Europe
Yes.
can't defend its borders by themselves. They won't. It's
Yeah.
fractured already.
Well, let's listen to this this gentleman here. And sometimes persons rise up and you look and say, hang on a second, who is this guy? And I always say that. Listen to this guy here.
Andrew Snowden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Every week the Prime Minister comes here and reads out this pre-scripted nonsense that bears no resemblance to the questions he's actually asked. The Leader of the Opposition asked him about Peter Mandelson and he answered about the war in Iran. The Leader of the Opposition asked him about Mandelson again and he answered with an attack on the Shadow Justice Secretary. He was asked about Mandelson again and talked about protests in London. What is he scared of? What is he hiding? For a man who has spent years presenting himself as a forensic investigator, he has certainly had a blind spot to the details for this convicted paedophile with a friend in high Labour places. So I shall ask him again, when he found out that Lord Mandelson had an ongoing relationship with the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, did he speak to him personally before appointing him ambassador to the United States?
Mr. Speaker, we've set out the process. It is being put before the House. But I know why they don't want to. They don't want to talk about the war because they support.
You see what I'm, Gary? That is why he's losing his credibility. He's just not answering the questions.
He never does. He never has.
Yeah. So nobody has any credibility, and people just say, "Oh, it don't make sense." I listen to it because the guy emphasized they've been talking about Peter Mandelson, trying to get an answer out of him. He keep deflecting it and talking about the war. He keep deflecting it and talking about the things, the issues with the Muslims praying in you know, he just deflected. Doesn't answer the question. So, and that's why people have lost interest sometimes in politics, and that is why they are going to get a good slapping at the elections.
I really hope that they do. I mean, the country needs, but by his inactivity and his inability to lead by where how a leader should lead, he's dragging the UK into the war.
Yes.
He's going to drag the UK kicking and screaming into the war, but by his inability to lead. Because you see, a leader does two things. A leader can lead willingly and lead and give direction, or a leader can lead by not doing nothing at all. But he's led. He can say, well, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. But by his ability of not saying anything, you know, he's basically dragging whatever he's leading into whatever he's not supposed to. And that is what Starmer is doing. There isn't anybody in the Labour Party right now that is shining. There isn't anybody. And you're right what the other person said. By there's no light, by there's no leadership in the Labour Party, it's making Kemi look good. Because if there was somebody in the Labour Party that was leading, if there was strong leadership in the Labour Party, Kemi would not look so good as she is. I'm not saying that she's not doing a good job.
Yeah, she wouldn't be shining. She wouldn't be shining so much.
She wouldn't be.
Yeah,
she wouldn't be. But you see, there's no leadership. It's leadership, man. It's leadership. There's none. And if listen, if Keir Starmer was a Premiership manager, they would have kicked him out long
Yeah,
time
yeah,
ago.
it would have been sacked long time. Yeah,
He would
definitely.
have gone, no questions asked. You know,
No, no,
the
no matter
investors.
no matter how many how long the contract is, and how much money is, you always
I
hear that they get him
none.
out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. The investors would demand that he be sacked. How
Yes.
much more the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, right? Probably is the fifth. Is it the fifth largest economy in the world,
Yeah.
with history behind it, and
Mm.
and the country still the country still has not demanded that he goes, or the country has demanded and he said he's not going anywhere. What's all that about? Really? What is that about?
Yeah. I wonder if Kemi met the Nigerian president yesterday. Because the Nigerian president is here in the UK. The king had a big bashment for him yesterday, and I think he went to number 10. So it'd be great to see a picture with him and Kemi, because of the issues that people have with the whole Nigeria bit as well. But yeah, it's very interesting. But there's one more thing though. Have you been following this thing about meningitis?
I've been hearing about it. I think that, to me, it doesn't sit comfortable with me.
Mm. Something
You know,
going down, man.
huh?
Something going down.
Something, yeah, it doesn't sit comfortable with me. I mean, how? Why? All of a sudden, a meningitis, complex has sprung up in Kent. Why
Yeah.
has it just come up now? What's going on, Sil?
Well,
It's not. It's not
ladies and
good.
gentlemen, and Michelle, what has been happening is that there's been a meningitis outbreak in the UK in Kent, and 2 persons passed away. A meningitis vaccination program has expanded following a deadly outbreak in Kent, with university students queuing for hours for jabs. But I must say though, and my wife reminded me, the school recently was doing some shots for meningitis. They started doing some shots recently.
Really?
When they give shots, them sort of give you the same thing with them want to take away. You know what I mean? When it was
Well, I
COVID,
mean,
when it was COVID time,
yes, yeah,
there's something going down, man.
yeah, yeah. Something is happening.
Uh,
Something is
mm,
taking place that it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. And even my wife Janet was saying that
yeah,
that it could be also a way of giving the COVID-19 jab.
yeah. I'm trying to say, because I was listening and they were saying that they're out of these jabs or so. That's why. Listen, that's why I like to say that I'm like a virgin, not touched. I'm not touched with these things, man. Not touched with these needles and so like that. And I was very adamant, my family and myself, during this COVID period. We can speak it freely now. I didn't force it. I didn't push my views down people's throat. But I just, me and my family, we stayed far from that needle, man, during the COVID period, Gary.
I think, yeah, yes. Something is not. It's not adding up. Something is not
Yeah,
adding.
yeah.
You know.
So that's the whole thing there. So watching the space on that, but there have been some very interesting things in the news the past week, which is very interesting, and
Yeah.
and also one of the things that they're talking about is that the whole interest rate is that's gonna even freeze. That whole the excitement about interest rate going down, everything is gonna be freezing now. Yeah, my orange juice might have to even increase again. I may vex when them increase. Hey, when the Ukraine thing, the orange juice, man, it double the price, man. Vex, you see, man. you know. Because what I said, the Iran war is having a dramatic effect on the UK's economy. And one of the things that we've been looking at is even the local area, one will have to start even thinking about the people in your local area. You know, running for the mayor, you have to think long term, because if there's any impact or this, you have to look at ways how to help vulnerable people. Because Gary, without whether we like it or not, increase is gonna come. Oil, petrol, all these things gonna go up. Price of electricity, gas, and all of that. All of the time when these things happen, what it happens? All of these things filter down. It filter down into your products that you buy. You know.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, and Netanyahu showed up today. Remember they were saying that he was unalive. He turned up today and said, "For all the skeptics, here I am, and I've got witnesses that I'm alive." You know. But
Yeah. I
these
mean,
days, Gary, yeah,
yeah. People are so gullible, man.
yeah,
People are so very gullible. I don't
yeah,
know. I don't
yes,
understand. I don't understand why, but that's the world in which we live right now, still.
yes, 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 yes. But yeah, my show's them in the night, and ladies and gentlemen, wrapping up on the show here. What I'm doing, I'm incorporating my discussions these days. We got along with my campaign now. You know, talking about it as well. I went to a campaign last week. It was in Station Hill. There was the Green candidate, and there was Belinda was there. Belinda was there. There was a Green candidate. There was an independent guy, and myself. And Labour did not turn up, Gary. Labour did not turn up. They could. They couldn't even. They could even. I think they could even send somebody to represent, because you've been there for 50 years, 40 to 50 years. I met a guy in the park, well, an elderly white guy in the park that I know very well, and he was breaking it down and said 1969 was the last time a conservative was in Lewisham. Yeah, and and I thought about it, Gary. I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. The former mayor of Lewisham was a guy named Damien Egan. He stepped down and went to become an MP in Bristol. It was a safe seat.
All right.
But he spent only 2 years. So guess what, Gary? He was not held accountable. He wasn't scrutinized. And guess what now? The lady who took over from him now, Brenda Dakers, and I say it publicly, and I've been saying it a while because I want it to be very clear. She's now being promoted to the House of Lords. So guess what? She has also stood down, and she's not coming to the Austins or anything to be scrutinized. She get away with it as well. Now, the person who is now the mayoral candidate did not even have the audacity and the courtesy of turning up to be scrutinized and to be asked questions again, Gary. And that is why I'm talking about this whole thing about accountability. I use it a lot because, you know, I say it a lot when I talk about even with Jamaica. Accountability and transparency is so important. And that is why I say this, that one of the things that I am saying is that, you know, when you have council meetings where people go to council meetings and they have to follow the protocol, they have 2 minutes or 3 minutes to talk. What I want to do is to have meetings outside of the council. Bring the cabinet outside of the council into all the different wards on a monthly or every 2 months basis, subject to diary, right? And when that happens, be fully scrutinized by the people. Because guess what? It is not my money, it's not their money, it's the people's money. So just hold your hand up and be accountable to the people. Right. Nobody wants to be held accountable to the people anymore. They get in there, they hide in that cocoon box, and they stay there until 3-4 years. And now you know crash program. You know crash program in Jamaica, yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
When
Yes.
when just before election they start to do things. Now you can see Labour's the councillors are all over the place and say, "Oh, we're knocking on the door to see what the issues are." I'm saying, for Pete's sake, Bridget, you should know what the issues are. You've been there for so long. It is that they're out there now and putting out some information. It's like a crash program. Crash program, Gary. Total crash program. You know, I want to play this video that I did
And what you're saying, that question there.
This is the Hustings.
When I go about identity is an issue. I always say this all the while. Once a person identifies, know who they are, they become unstoppable. And people like to place labels upon persons. You're a conservative, you're a Labour, you're green. Oh, I will not speak to you. And after you speak to them for a while, they say, hang on a second. You don't look like a conservative. You don't sound like a conservative as well. And I said, what's a conservative? And I realize in a way that people are now looking for individuals that they can relate to. And I always say this all the while, when you start to get into the identity issue, put green, reform and all those other things, you miss the boat completely. And especially when it comes on to a place like Lewisham, get down and talk to the people. I say to people all the while, how are you? Who are you? My name is Silburn. They speak to me for a long time and they look on the leaflet and they said, sorry guys. They look at me, oh, you're conservative. Oh, why are you conservative? I like you. I like you. And I realized, hang on a second, it is something that you got to navigate through, because really and truly you're touching the persons, but they actually start to latch onto titles. No wonder Cowdy said you need an independent person, right? Because that is what is happening now. So I believe as much as possible is to show up, let people know who I am. I'm still Burn City, just as how you see me. And yes, I stand on the platform of a conservative, and I have no apologies for that. And yes, there may have been issues in the past, but I'm not going to stand up and start to speak about that forever, because the time I'm spending time talking about that, I'm missing the boat for the future, for the young people, for the future. And that's what I'm about. So when I say about identity, my identity is the people of Lewisham, speaking to them and try to sort of not separate yourself from the party or structure that you're with, but really, as much as possible, connect. So therefore, people can come down to a certain level and they can relate to you and it can make a difference, and then you lift them up as much as possible. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Ça tue, ça blesse, ça flingue.
Yes. So so I got all these different clips which I'll be putting out bit by bit, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Getting the message out as much. I like you, and I'm not. somebody laugh. Somebody right now. I like you, and I'm not conservative. I meet people sometimes and they say, "Oh, I like you, but I'm not." I got a message from a lady. A lady put a poster thing, and she said, "I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm gonna go and vote. I've never voted Conservative yet, but I vote for you. I'm gonna close my eyes and go there and do it." I said to her, please open your eyes when you're going to mark the X. You know, but you know, it is very interesting there, you know, as much as possible. So, and just really, because you see, what I sense again is that people are scared of change. Anybody, you say that? People are scared of change, you know. People rather to stick. Yeah.
I mean, I think, my friend, that if you see, people buy into the person. You understand? Yes. People buy into the person. And what they've got to understand, I think what people's got to understand is not so much the party. Labour Party is, listen, I'm not even, well, the Labour Party has never, ever done anything for the black man.
Yeah.
The only time, and it's worse today than at any other time since the black man has been in this country. They just use us to get the vote. When when the election comes, they highlight everything that you are struggling with. But when they get in, they forget about you. They don't address any of your needs. And I think that's a travesty of justice, because we've never gained anything. I'm not saying that the Conservative Party is any better. I'm just saying that stop voting the Labour Party in. Stop it, because they're not doing anything for us. You know, when you look at what Labour has done to London through the hands of Sadiq Khan, right? He, I don't know why. Well, I don't know why the Londoners are voting him in. When you look and see what Labour Party has done to this country by putting up taxes to support agencies and organizations, that is totally immoral and breaks down the family and family unit. And I'm not going to be calling any names right now, but you all know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm sure you all know what I am talking about. Labour Party just wastes money. That's all it does. It does not tackle the issues. And it's the same thing that this leader, our prime minister, is a personification of what Labour has been doing over the past 60, 70 years to this point. And when we really need leadership, they can't provide it. Because again, in the recent months before now, this same Labour Party that we all seem to be putting in and day out, what did they try to do to Diane Abbott?
Oh, she's out. She's out. They kick her out. You know that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
She's been kicked out. She's an independent now. They kick her out.
David Lammy, he's going to be the next person, but his I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but he is blind. He is totally blind, because they're going to give Labour Party some time. They're going to do the same thing they did to Diane. They're going to do it to him, but he is not seeing it.
Because what I've noticed also, they have moved even the MP here, Janet Davies. She was a minister for children. They sacked her or reshuffled her, whatever. They said they reshuffled her. So she'd have a ministerial brief. Dawn Butler, she have no ministerial brief. You got a few rising star black persons there. They don't have no ministerial brief as well, And you realize that the Labour Party, I mean, we are seeing it as it is. People always say that the Conservatives tend to actually promote black people more. Well, we are seeing it. We're seeing it. What is happening there? But I want to just interject something there. When I was thinking about council tax increased now in the UK, in Lewisham where I live. 4.9% it went up by. That is a legal bit where they can bring it up to. If they were going to go above that, they got to get special permission from the Secretary of State or a referendum in Lewisham or the local area. 4.9%, Gary. And I've been looking and I've been seeing a lot of roads blocked off. Doing work before the tax year. And it's like something is not right. Something is amiss. And I was thinking again that even if there was a dispensation for 10% where they could get away with 10% without actually getting permission, they would have bring the counter tax to 9.9%.
Right.
They would have gone, Gary. And my guys have worked it out and said it could have gone to about 2 or 3% if they didn't overshoot. So what I think a lot of it is lack of stewardship, lack of strong leadership as much as possible. And I think the councils are getting away with a lot of things. And I believe that people need to hold the councils accountable. But people, there's a lady that told me that she lives up the road from me, and she said they were trying to impose CPZ, like parking permit on her street. And a couple on the street, you know what they did? They went around to every single house, got signatures, and rejected it. Many people don't know that they can do that, Gary. Many people don't know they can do that. And they just 2 or 3 persons say, oh yes, maybe selfishly don't want people to park on the street that they can afford it for parking permit. But, and guess what? They've rejected it. So I was saying, somebody called me today and said something, and I said, let's speak to the councillor. Let's mobilize people. but people tend not to want to do these things, Gary. That's what I want to do. Teach people, show people, give them a fish. No, give them a net so they can fish. Not everybody wants to fish.
Yeah.
And expose the whole thing. Speak about what the function of a mayor is. A mayor is a person who is the leader of the place. It is not a position which is ceremonial.
Right.
When I go places and I speak, I said, it is an executive position. It is a strategic lead. The mayor also set the budget, propose the council tax as well. But guess what? Unless there's some opposition or some scrutiny, they'll get away with it because they're all in it together. And that's why I keep saying to people of Lewisham, we've got to change the game. If not, they'll just carry on again and they'll just do this, what do you call it? Crash program. And just say, yeah, everything all right, man, everything all right, and just get in and them gone again. Got to change the game, Gary. Got to change the game.
Well, that is why when it comes to the two political parties, the Labour, the Conservative, you've got you got the Reform Party, you have the Liberal Democrat Party,
Green,
you've got Greens. When you've got them, at least the two largest ones at the top, we cannot just give them a blank sheet every time. It's either Labour or Conservative, or it's Conservative and then Labour. They have to meet up. A time has to be, or a line, let me say, has to be drawn in the sand where they are. Well, let me just say figuratively, slapped in the face to realize that they're no more in power. They're out. Both of them. Because that's the only time that it looks like a full reset has taken place within politics in the UK.
And they wake up.
A wake-up call to both of these parties because they've had more than enough time. If you calculate all the years of power, probably it's well over 100 years. Putting both years of the parties together, it's well over 100 years. And they still have not learned. They're playing with people's lives.
Yes.
And the population has not learned. They're not learning. I don't think we are learning. I really don't think we are seeing what really is going on. There's a few. I would say probably there's a few, a small percentage of the population that may see what is happening. But you see, again, you got some people who have just lost interest and they're not doing anything. They'll sit back and not vote. You don't hear their voices. They're quite happy being where they are because they are saying it doesn't make sense. I'm not going to throw away my vote. But by not voting at all, that's what actually they're doing, because the few that do vote are voting the wrong people in. That's all.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, Gary, we did not stay till 10 o'clock. We went over 10 o'clock. I hope you can give me some credit for that. you always tell me off and say, time too short.
Yeah, well, you've done well tonight. I mean, I just had some massive problems. I don't know what's wrong with my. It's not my laptop I'm on. I'm on my phone at the moment. Really.
Oh, your phone? Okay.
So I don't know what's going on with the laptop. I can do everything else. I do my daily things and recordings and everything on my laptop. But when it comes to doing the Silbo and Sidiel show, it just won't work. It's just not connecting. I don't know what's going on there, my friend.
I'll have a chat with Trump.
Please.
And I'll have a chat with Starmer as well. And try them to knock it together and say Gary want to get on as well. As well.
see if you can get Kemi in the middle
and but by the way, I did a flyer and I like how the flyer because I put Kemi right in the middle. There she is, right in the middle.
Okay.
Actually, UK caught in the middle. I put her right in the middle there. You know, as a matter of fact, she did what is it? She did a presentation today. It was really interesting. Let's see if I
I
can.
thought you were there, you know. I was looking for you to see if you were somewhere in the crowd there, but you didn't go, did you?
No, I didn't go to this one. I didn't go to this one. I went to the last one.
Yeah.
Getting our own oil and out, getting our high streets working again. Only people with a plan. We want hardworking people to be rewarded for their effort. That means abolishing business rates so that most pubs, restaurants, and high street shops will pay nothing when the Conservatives come back. It means helping people like Mary out, getting our high streets working again. It means our cheap power plan, cutting energy bills for families and businesses, helping families to make ends meet, and businesses to make a profit. It means drilling in the North Sea, getting our own oil and gas out of the ground at a time when global supplies are in peril.
Listen to this.
Helping families to make it for their effort. We are the only ones who will, because Conservatives are the only people with a plan. We want hardworking people to be rewarded for their effort. That means abolishing business rates so that most pubs, restaurants, and high street shops will pay nothing when the Conservatives come back.
She has a point there, you know, Sil.
Huh?
I think she has a point there when it comes to energy and getting the oil out and the gas out. I mean, I'm not a fan and I'm not an advocate for electric cars. I don't know where. I really do not know where how the UK is going to rely on electricity when to run the electricity they're gonna have to get oil anyway.
Yeah, I think what did Michelle say? Michelle said something about her daughter drives an electric car. Is that it was to advantage? Is that what he said, Michelle? I'm trying to see where she said it. But electric cars benefit persons now, isn't it? Oh, what?
I don't know, my friend.
Say what you said, Michelle. I don't know what you said, Michelle. Repeat what you said. Yeah, but yeah, I'm stuck in the old school electric vehicle. Sometimes you can't hear them when they pass. You know?
What people do not understand, they're trying to control the movement of people. And once you have an electric car, they can turn it off. That's what these people don't understand. They'll turn you off.
Wow.
And if you break down, you don't take it to a mechanic shop or take it to the dealer because they don't have the mechanics. Sometimes all you have to do is send the serial number to where it's manufactured, and they will tell you what's wrong with it.
Wow. So it's just like going on to YouTube.
Exactly. I mean, no. I mean, I don't know how people are so gullible, you know, to say that electric cars are that much more cleaner and all that. So when a car breaks down, all the batteries then go. There's nowhere, and there's no technology out there that can ever show that you can recycle a battery. You can't recycle what's in batteries. But people don't understand.
Yeah. This is what Michelle said. My daughter drives an electric car, and at this time she's saying good luck to who has to buy gas. Does that mean to say she's a benefit? She's benefiting of. Is that what you mean, Michelle? She said good luck to who has to buy gas because gas is going up. So that's why she's saying good luck. You know. Well, tell your daughter good luck too. Good luck. Alright. Well, Gary, listen, it was a great night. Chatting. I'm going to be doing some regular discussions. I'll take the gas car over the electric car anytime. Me too, Michelle.
Anytime.
I like the vroom vroom. Yeah, I'll be doing some live discussions. I'm going to use the platform here, the platform that I'm doing, because I go on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everything again, leading up to the elections in May, and I have a few more meetings planned as well. So, and the plan is to go to a couple train stations and hand out some leaflets. I don't know. You have seen my leaflet, have you?
I don't think so. You need to send me one, man. Send me one on the post.
Send it one on the post.
Or email me.
Yeah. Yeah. And so therefore you've got that's a council one, standing for the council. That's in Grove Park. So I'm standing for a council seat.
Okay.
And then this is for the mayoral one. This is the mayoral leaflet. Oh, you can't see properly, yeah.
I can't see, but I can see the make out of it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, yeah, there it is. That's the one there. And that's the one there. Oh, somebody said, why I'm not showing it on TikTok? Yeah, you are on TikTok. There, that's it. That's the council seat, and that's for the mayor. That's for the mayor one as well. Boom. Okay. So you can all come over here and vote. All right. You okay? Okay. Okay. All right. So Gary, listen, it sounds like you're caught up in something there. All right, Gary, I'm gonna go now. Good night. Gary, I'm gonna go now. Yep. Think your thing is gone bad. All right. Gary, I'm gonna go now. Okay, you can see. Okay, all right. Peace out. Take care. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night, and see you around next time. Next week Tuesday, maybe Saturday night actually, maybe Saturday night, depending. Better check on Gary. No, he's all right. It's just his phone. His system is a bit freaked out or something like that. So, peace out and have a good night. God bless you. Bye bye. Okay, so have a good night, ladies and gentlemen, and peace out until next time. Thank you so much for joining as well, and ciao bella, and blessings. Bye bye.